the Japan trip.
'06. We had a big Mets contingency on that trip. Jose, John Maine, Manny Acta, Julio Franco was there as player and hitting coach.
But he kind of did you dirty on the trip.
Big time. He's known for his pranks. So he brings me as his guest. I volunteered a bullpen catch since I thought, what am I going to do, sit in the stands? If they need someone to catch bullpens and throw batting practice, I was happy to do it. Turns out they did. So I don't have a work visa now. So the MLB security says just wear a jacket when you go out on the field. Shouldn't be any problems. Well, what do I do? First day, I run on the field, got my batting practice jersey on with my name on the back. Don't think anything of it. Come off the field about an hour later. Here's MLB security to greet me. Tells me Japanese immigration was there with their list. There's no Racaniello on the list. They bring me in off the clubhouse to a room. Sit here, bear with us. We'll try to work this out with the Japanese immigration. Next thing you know, there's people, they're coming in the room, they're yelling in Japanese. MLB security.
You know what to say.
I don't know what's going on, but I could tell it's not good and no one's happy. This goes on for 20 minutes. David comes in at some point and talks to MLB security and offers them, he's asking if he can bribe Japanese immigration to let me stay. and this is the line I still hear to this day because I'm like, David, please don't get yourself in trouble. Don't worry about it. It's my fault, you know. 10 minutes later, they come in. Japanese immigration isn't budging. You're going to have to leave the country immediately. They stand me up, handcuff me, and I didn't think anything of it at this point, but they're going to walk me across to the center field gate is how they have to walk me out of the stadium. We leave the dugout. I get to the third baseline, turn around, and there's David with the MLB security team, half the team, and they're just dying laughing.
Jay Horwitz, a special edition of Amazin Conversations with my friend Dave Racaniello. 25 years, man. That's a long time.
Trying to keep up with you, Jay.
No, you're not there yet. So, July 19th, our good friend and your good friend David Wright's going to have his number retired in the Mets Hall of Fame. You know, you've been a friend to him, probably his best friend in baseball, I would say. Best man at his wedding.
By default.
Well, I know, but still an honor to be.
Definitely.
You know, Rack, let me say it's a nice way. Shows you what kind of guy he is. He's a 7-time All-Star, but he's really a man of the people. You know
that he's willing to be friends with the bullpen catchers.
No, you know what I'm trying.
I'm kidding.
You know what I'm trying to
say.
Totally. I mean, he doesn't have actor. He's got normal people.
It doesn't matter who you are.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
It doesn't matter what position you're in, what title you have.
Yeah.
It's kind of person you are. I think that earns his friendship.
Yeah. I mean, when was your first year was 2000, right?
Yes.
And he was he spring training. I forget. When did you first meet him?
I met him. First time was after the draft in 2001.
Right.
He came up to take batting practice, as they usually bring up the first or second round pick to work out at the field.
Thank God for Mike Hampton, right?
I would say that same thing. You never know. You know, it's a great example of you never know how a negative situation could spin into a positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's that
the old school system in Colorado.
Right. Thank God for that Colorado school system.
And we signed David as
we get the supplemental pick and we pick David. Yeah. So you never know how things are going to happen. But so I met him when he came up to take batting practice. I don't remember
hit it off right away, or did you hit it off right away?
Not then. I mean, I came up. I shook. You know, we introduced. Right. I served up great batting practice. I remember he hit some home runs at Shea, which was impressive because he was only 18 years old.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I remember his family being there. I've always wondered, like, there's got to be some footage. I've always wondered, like, maybe the late great Mark Levine had some shots from that day. There's got to be some pictures or something. But then that was it, and then we met again in his first big league spring training in 2004.
So when did you become friends? You know, I mean,
probably during that big league camp. I had a good relationship with Joe McEwing.
Right.
I mean, similar to David.
There's another guy, you know, Joe McEwing, not the number one guy of the team, that, you know, a grinder.
A grinder. And I would say David's a grinder.
Yeah.
And he might be a star, but he's a grinder. I mean, he's a hardworking, blue collar, bring your lunch pail to the field kind of player.
Yeah, you talk about this stuff. So the guys he's befriended through the years of friends, Paul Tagliari, Ryan St. Lucie, Trier Van Allen. Who's the catcher I could pronounce? Joe
Hippis.
Joe Hippis. Again,
they were like best friends when they're coming up, for sure.
So what was there one time when you knew, when you met him, you know, that, hey, he's going to be my friend, my buddy? I mean,
not really. No. I mean, our relationship just sort of developed like any friendship, you know, coming to the field every day. And Both very competitive people, both love sports, similar sense of humor, busting each other's chops nonstop, stuff like that.
Now let me jump ahead to the Japan trip. He took you to was it '06 or
Oh six.
'06? And he
We had a big Mets contingency on that trip.
Jose was there,
Jose, John Maine,
right?
Manny Acta,
Maniac.
Julio Franco
Julio
was there
Fran-
as player and hitting coach, I believe.
But both you guys, had no significant others at that time, so he took you as a guest.
Correct.
But he kind of did you dirty on the trip.
Big time. He's known for his pranks,
Yeah.
and
He doesn't like people to play pranks on him, though.
it's a dangerous game if you go after him because you got to worry about what
Yeah.
comes back, So, but on that one, so he brings me as his guest.
Right.
I volunteered a bullpen catch since I thought, what am I going to do, sit in the stands? If they need someone to catch bullpens and throw
Right.
batting practice, I was happy to do it. Turns out they did. So I don't have a work visa now. So the MLB security says just wear a jacket when you go out on the field. Shouldn't be any problems. Well, what do I do? First day, I run on the field, got my batting practice jersey on with my name on the back. Don't think anything of it. Come off the field about an hour later. Here's MLB security to greet me. They tell me,
Kevin Hallahan.
I think that's who it was. Tells me Japanese immigration was there with their list, and there's no Racaniello on the list. So they're like, come in. They bring me in off the clubhouse to a room. Sit here. Bear with us. We'll try to work this out with the Japanese immigration. Next thing you know, there's people. They're coming in the room. They're yelling in Japanese. MLB
You don't
security.
know what to say.
I don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
but I could tell it's not good, and no one's happy. This goes on for 20 minutes. David comes in at some point and talks to MLB security, and offers them he's asking if he can bribe Japanese immigration to let me stay. and this is the line I still hear to this day because I'm like, David, please don't get yourself in trouble. Don't worry about it. It's my fault, So 10 minutes later, they come in. Japanese immigration isn't budging. You're going to have to leave the country immediately. They stand me up, handcuff me, and I didn't think anything of it at this point, but they're going to walk me across to the center field gate is how they have to walk me out of the stadium. We leave the dugout. I get to the third baseline, I turn around, and there's David with the MLB security team, half the team, and they're just dying laughing.
It reminds me of the story of the Chicago statue.
Yes.
And,
The bull.
Did you ever get hit by?
No.
Wait, can I say balls, Vito, on the air?
Yes.
So we had this thing in Chicago that if you looked at the statue's horse's balls,
Right.
you were arrested or
You
something.
had to paint them.
Did you ever get caught on that?
No. Never got involved in that one, thankfully.
But we talked about it before. The one joke I remember when he played on Paul Taglieri, our good friend, he moved his office, right? What did he do exactly?
It started as I think the first thing we did to him was we just rearranged the office furniture
Right.
as a joke. And from there, the next year he opened his office door and he put a wall up like right in front of
Right.
it. He walled off the office.
Yeah.
Then it was the popcorn peanuts in the car. We filled that, and then it ended with the tires. We were running out of gags. We actually joked about, could we kidnap his kids? Like what can we do next?
Well, a little bit about his career. I know he's gotten over it, but I'm sure your mind, if the injuries didn't happen, the neck to back, on a path to the Hall of Fame.
No
Do you
doubt.
think he's over that? I mean, he's raising 3 young kids with Molly in California. Do you ever think about what do you think your thoughts going to be on July 19th when you see his number 5 raised? Will you think about the Hall of Fame at all?
Well, it's going to be surreal for starters to see his number up there.
Right.
It's so well deserved. No one exemplifies what it is to be a Met more than David Wright, or to be a professional more than David. So it's extremely well deserved. As for the Hall of Fame, I mean, like you said, he was definitely on a Hall of Fame path without a
Right.
doubt. I'm glad to see him get some votes. I think that's deserved as well. But I don't think he has any regrets. I think when you go about things the way David does, he left everything out on the field. I mean,
He
he
did.
did everything he could on and off the field, in the training room to get back out there. I think if you don't do those things, then maybe you have regret, but he did everything he possibly could. So I think he's pretty satisfied.
This is the toughest question. Who's a better fantasy football player, you or him?
Well, we actually co-manage our
Yeah.
a couple teams now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you guys ever won anything?
I'm carrying the weight for
Yeah.
sure.
Have you guys ever won anything?
Of course we've won, Jay. But you have to win it to satisfy him. If you finish in second or third, it's not good enough. You know everything.
I'm sure it takes it pretty seriously too.
Are you kidding? He's one of the most competitive people
Yeah.
that you're gonna meet. And I always say, like, on the field, as a professional baseball player, he's the most respectful opponent.
Yeah.
You know, anything else that he competes in, he's
Did
obnoxious beyond
Did he get
belief.
thrown out one time? I remember one
I know he
time.
got thrown out in Anaheim.
That's what I
believe
remember.
Him and Murph got tossed.
Yeah. But
Is that the only time you got?
it was very.
But
it was
again,
like-
it's such a respectful opponent, and if you want to dislike David Wright, just compete against him in anything.
really.
And it's like he smells blood in the water, you know, the trash talk.
I know I'm jumping around, but
No.
probably my favorite David Wright memory. We in 15, come back from a beat Colorado, get into Philadelphia about 4:00 in the morning, trudge up the steps at a Westin hotel. What was the woman's name there? Nice lady. I forget her name. Whatever.
Can't remember.
So number 5 is here in full uniform, handing out chocolate chip Enderman cookies, hot cookies.
Yes,
I had 2. Fresh hot cookies.
I'm sure I had 2 as well.
And I didn't sleep all the night. And his rationale was, well, I've been on a DL. I don't think guys are going to remember me. I mean, that's him.
He ran that idea by me before he did it.
Yeah.
You know, asking if he thought it would be stupid or, you know, and I'm like, you don't have to do this, you know, like,
Yeah.
but that's David, you know, he's the captain of the team. He's the face of the franchise.
Right.
And, you know, because the team was playing well and had some momentum, felt like he didn't want to disrupt that at all. And it's like, you're David freaking Wright. Like, gonna say friggin'?
So the next day, I think that was the next day, I'm sitting in Terry Collins' office, and David comes in, knock. He said, listen, Skip, you don't have to play me. I'd be happy to sit the first game. And Terry says, you're crazy. You're batting fourth, you know, second inning, long home run to left field, first at bat. I still cry. You know, I cry. I'm a crier, you know.
So am I.
So the Piazza home run, and when he hit that home run, you know why I cried in the press box is all he went through to get to that point.
And you saw some of it down in St. Lucie. You
I
were
went
down there
there
in Florida.
4 or
when he was
5
rehabbing.
hours a day to, you know,
Tedious.
the tedious stuff
Yeah.
to get back to that point.
Right.
You know, and all that he went through, and the first at bat is a home
Amazing.
run.
And the fact that he went into Terry's office and said, like, hey, you don't feel the pressure to
He's
play.
not BSing
And
either.
no, not at all. And that's why he's the captain.
Right.
That's leadership in a nutshell. And it's always the team first, me second, always.
What was your feeling in the World Series? You know, along the same line when we hit the home run in Game 3, kind of a vindication of well, you went through, you know, only World Series appearance to have him hit a home
But
run.
you see so many guys, great players, play a long time without having an opportunity to play in a World Series. So just the opportunity to play in a World Series was special. And to see him hit a home run, obviously, I mean,
And when
he'll
we,
have that memory
when
forever. I
we
think we
clinched-
all will, right?
when we clinched in that game in Cincinnati, he had a 3-run homer,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
in
Those
that game.
big moments.
So let me jump ahead again to 18. And he tried to make it back. You know, didn't happen. And probably in the early part of 18, his main goal was to get back on the field one more time.
Right.
And he worked his behind off to do that. And leading into that day, what do you remember about the couple of days or 2 days? I think he pinch hit the first game.
Yeah, he walked, right?
He walked.
Yeah.
And the next day he started, and Pete O'Brien
Yeah.
didn't drop the freaking ball.
I'm sure David is glad he caught it. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
do you
would
know the whole
think.
story? Pete O'Brien sent the ball over after the game
I know
to
this.
get autographed.
Right.
David autographed it.
Yeah.
He wrote on the ball. He should have dropped the ball.
I don't think he means that.
No,
I
no,
really
he-
don't. The kind of person David is,
Yeah.
he wouldn't want it that
Yeah.
way, you know?
Yeah, you know, but how many times did you see him never walk away from a kid with the autographs? One time in Philly, I think we lost a Friday night game, and he helped up the bus to sign autographs for a kid 4 or 5 in the morning. How did he always do the right thing at the right time? I've never. He stayed out of page 6. You know,
I always say that. I don't know if any player has navigated the New York media as well
Right.
as David Wright did. I
Yeah.
mean, 15 years, never a blip of controversy or anything like that. And as far as he just gets it, as far as giving his
Yeah.
time, he understands the impact giving an autograph or a few minutes of his time has. And I think he enjoys it as well. I mean, he's happy.
He embraces being a role model.
No
right?
doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. And he's perfect for the job.
You know
He
what I
literally
like?
does obnoxiously so everything the right way.
Yeah. I think that's the name of his foundation. It's the right way.
Yeah. Very fitting, right?
You've been, I mentioned a couple of times in Norfolk, you went to the raise money for his local hospital. I'm going to screw it. The King sisters, brothers, uncles, aunts, whatever.
I think it's Children's CHKD.
Yes.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. He's raised close to $1 million, came down for the casino nights. I mean, here's a guy who hasn't forgotten his roots.
Not at all, yeah. It was impressive that he started that foundation at, how old was he?
21, 22
That's the
years
thing.
old.
I always
Yeah.
got to catch myself and think back and realize, wow, he was so young when he got called up.
Right.
I kind of forgot how young he was, and being thrown into the spotlight. And when he first got called up, Ty Wigginton was a beloved player here, very well liked. So I always felt like that was an awkward situation in itself.
SNY's doing this documentary on David's life, and they got Ty Wigginton, and Ty Wigginton's quote was, "David Wright ran me out of town."
I mean, kind of did.
He kind of,
Yeah. But it was an awkward situation a little bit, and David handled it with professionalism and grace, as always.
So now you guys live close to each other in California. Do you see each other, during the winter? I mean,
Yeah, we have lunch every once or twice a week.
So my favorite, now I keep telling my title, I'm technically the head of the alumni players.
I thought you were a historian.
Well, that's too, but David works for me now.
That's right.
Yeah. So my favorite, he coaches. So Brooks, Molly, Olivia, right?
Olivia, Madison, Brooks.
Okay, I was close.
You almost got it.
So one softball game, he was coaching, and the rival coach said, "What's your history with baseball? Do you do anything?" He said, "I dabble in it." And
How great is that?
That's
That's David, right?
That's the typical.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you surprised that that consider who he is? Friendship is over 2 decades. No reason to stop. You're friendly with the family. Every time we play the Dodgers, the kids call you grandpa. What do they call you?
They don't call me grandpa. I don't know where he came up with.
No,
they might call you grandpa.
Yeah, I am grandpa.
They call me Rack.
Yeah, but he always manages to see you
Mhm.
and doesn't forget. Quick, I gotta tell you your story. Your title is bullpen catcher, but you're more than I worked traveling a long time. You help bring the team together, a conduit, a friend to everybody, do anybody on the team. Tell the people how you first started in your job.
So it's a very random story, but I had a great friend who passed away, Chris Sabia, growing up. His father and Bobby Valentine grew up playing baseball. Bobby gave Chris a couple of pitching lessons. I went and caught, so I met Bobby. Chris and I went to a game in '97 and tried to go down in the dugout and say hello to Bobby before the game. I always credit, there was a clubhouse guy that we sent in to tell Bobby that Chris Sabia was out here. You see that happen now every other day, and the guy goes in there, he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But this guy went in and told Bobby, because Bobby came out 5 minutes later. He looked at me and said right away, "Are you still catching?" I said, "Yeah, I was catching in junior college." And he said, "Our bullpen catcher's not here tonight. You want to catch in the bullpen?" So, I mean, obviously I did. And
Rack,
here we are.
it says to your loyalty to your way you conduct your life. 25 years, 8 managers, a lot of administrative changes. You still doing what you're doing, and forget what your title is. I mean, I know what you do. I mean, got to make you proud that you have the friendships you kept up through all your years.
Totally. I mean, this. There's so many great people that work in baseball.
Right.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, every year you meet new guys and you meet great people. I'm humbled that I've been able to stick around this long. Just try to, keep my head down and work hard and go about my business.
And make friends like, David Wright. Again, let me go back to, you're going to be on the field with him on the 19th and, a lot of the parties. I mean, were you thinking, your thoughts go back to the first time you met? What do you think you'd be thinking that day?
I think it's great that, David's the kind of guy that's always thinking about other people.
Right.
I mean, some of his biggest moments, he was thinking about me. I feel like, the home run derby, he had me throw to him in
Right, you're talking about
2013.
in Pittsburgh.
I wanted that was LaDuca.
The
I threw
Duke.
to him here at Citi Field.
That's
I
when he
wanted
brought-
no part of that.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted no part of that. I
Yeah.
mean, the pressure
Yeah,
is through the roof on these BP pitchers. They don't get enough credit.
yeah.
But he insisted. He knew that it would go. I think he knew it'd go fine. And if it didn't, he held that against me forever.
Mhm.
But I think he knew it would be fine, and that I would regret it if I didn't do that.
And he brought his good friend Mike Kadire from Norfolk.
Yeah,
Wasn't
of course.
supposed to be a home run hitter.
No.
He was on the team. And he helped.
You don't see him bend rules
yeah.
like that very often.
No.
But I think he threw his weight around a little bit on that one.
But
But
I
also,
think-
like his last game in 2018, he asked me to play catch with him before the game on the foul line. I mean,
That's-
again, like he's thinking about me during these moments. It's very humbling.
he did play a practical joke on me more than once. Yeah.
How many times did he get your binoculars?
Well, my eyesight's not great.
I think you should show up on the 19th with the raccoon eyes.
Yeah, my eyesight is not great. So I watched the game from the stands with binoculars. So he picked this up from John Franco. He put eye black around my stuff. I would go out to the press box looking like Petey from the Little Rascals, and then, Franco picked it up and it was crazy. I want to touch on this. The years he didn't play, he still was a help to me personally, because we used to have these BS sessions around the locker. It used to be you, Jacob deGrom, Steven Matz, and David. And, both of us know Jacob, small town guy, didn't really like the media, but he did it. And he did it because David Wright told him to do it.
100%.
I mean,
I used to say WWDWD.
Yeah.
What would David Wright do? I throw that in those guys' faces all the
And
time.
because
Jake hated it.
the one year when we were pushing for the Cy Young, I went up to him, and said, Jake, we got to do these things. I don't want to do it. David, what do you think? Do what Jay wants you to do.
Exactly.
And that's what he had such an input, even when he wasn't playing on the younger guys.
Is that not leadership?
That's leadership to
Yeah.
a T.
Yeah.
What? Is there any other games mind that stick out in your mind, Dave?
I mean, there's so many moments. The Mariano
You
the
remember-
hit against Mariano. I felt that was a big sort of his coming out nationally.
Right.
Like his arrival. That one sticks out. The barehanded catch in San Diego.
Remember he was voted the what is it? Not the voice of MLB, the
Face of MLB.
I must have voted about 150 times out of here. We used to have the
Who did he beat out? Do you remember who he?
some non-entity guy from
Yeah,
Oakland.
Yeah.
Another personal thing. I hope I'm starting to cry. When his relationship with Shannon Ford was off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
When Shannon got cancer, David befriended her. Was there for her. We had the memorial service in Shed City. 1,000 people. He spoke. I'm not just told you another.
He's always there. When he feels he can have an impact, he's going to be there. And he's always thinking about other people.
What he did for Hurricane Superstorm Sandy, and anytime a policeman or a fireman, what can I do?
Right. Without fanfare.
He never went like another guy used to play for the Yankees. Award number was it 13? He used to go to the hospital trailed by cameras. He never did that.
No, he's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not looking. I mean, there's no social media accounts for David Wright.
Yeah.
He
hates it. He doesn't tweet.
Can't stand the cameras, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he does
Yeah.
things to do them because they're the right things, and that's it. There's no ulterior motives.
How much do you think goes back to his mom and dad? I mean, father was a policeman, mother was a teacher.
I joke. I will say I think a lot. I if I'm around his brothers, I say none because have you met the brothers?
Right.
But they really are a great family. That they're all the same. They'll do anything for you. His parents are that way. His brothers are that way. So I'm not surprised.
So on the 19th, David's the second player in Mets history to have his number retired in the Hall of Fame the same day. Another one, Tom Seaver. Pretty apropos, right?
Big time. And David looked up to Tom
And big time, yeah.
so much. So I mean that's very fitting. And
Yeah.
who better? Those two guys are.
Yeah.
That's the Mets.
It should be. I was fortunate. I worked with him this whole career. I'm glad to be part of that. And like I say, now when he's got to pick the fun up.
He has to.
He works for you. Rock, one more David Wright story. Right before he went to the WBC one year, I want to let him know he wasn't going to be missed. So I got into his uniform and I was playing catch. I might even catch with you. He came on the field, saw me, tucked into number 5. I thought he was gonna have a heart attack.
I still have that picture. I have a picture of you in that uniform somewhere. I mean, it should be on the wall here,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I was a good-looking guy in those
Oh,
days,
you
right?
looked great. I thought the 5 never looked better.
Yeah, I did. It was kind of pop. My chest kind of buttons were popping.
Hey, it's all those muscles.
Rack, you've been a good friend all the years. Thank you for your time, man.
Thanks a lot for having me, Jay. This has
Appreciate
been
it.
great. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Jay.